Welcome to the Heartbreak Chronicles, where every story is a raw reflection of life. Hit that subscribe button to stay tuned, give us a like to show your support, and share this episode with your friends. Don't forget to leave a comment and let us know what you think. Now, let's dive into today's story. In the course of life, there are some stories that are destined to be told and some experiences that are worth remembering. My story began 20 years ago, in a summer full of hopes and dreams. My name was Zach. I was 27 years old and in the prime of my life. She, my ex-wife Amelia, was 24 years old, beautiful and vibrant. Our meeting was like a fateful encounter at a local music festival. It was a sunny weekend and the air was filled with excitement and anticipation. The atmosphere of the festival was electric, with bands from all over the world playing one show after another. I came here alone, hoping to find some joy and inspiration in music. As I strolled around the festival grounds, a band on the main stage caught my attention. Their music was passionate and their songs were powerful. I unconsciously walked towards the stage and joined the cheering crowd. Just then, I noticed a group of young people not far away who looked just as immersed in the music as I was. Among the group, one girl in particular stood out. She had long, flowing hair and bright eyes that sparkled with excitement. She was swaying to the music with a happy smile on her face. At that moment, I felt my heart beating faster. This girl was Amelia, my future wife, although neither of us knew at the time what fate had in store for us. Gathering my courage, I walked toward Amelia and her friends. "Hi guys. Great music, huh?" I greeted a little nervously. Amelia turned her head and gave me a big smile. "Yeah, it was great. Are you here alone?" she asked. With that, we started talking about our favorite bands and sharing our experiences at the festival. As the conversation progressed, I realized that Amelia was not only beautiful, but also funny. She had an infectious laugh that always made everyone around her happy. We talked more and more as if we had known each other for years, not just minutes. The time passed with so much laughter that we even forgot that we had another show to see. The festival lasted for 3 days, and for 3 days, Amelia and I were inseparable. We danced, laughed, and enjoyed the music together. We even tried some of the unique food at the festival, sharing the excitement of new flavors and experiences. Under the starry sky, we sat on the grass and talked about our dreams and expectations for the future. Those nights became precious memories for us. The day the festival ended, we all felt a little sad. We exchanged contact information and promised to keep in touch. Over the next few weeks, we went on frequent dates, exploring common interests and getting to know each other better. Each time we met, I became more certain that Amelia was the one I had been waiting for. Our relationship heated up quickly, and we were soon in a committed relationship. Our friends said we were made for each other, and we were convinced. Throughout our time together, we have grown together, supported each other, and made each other's lives better by each other's presence. 2 years later, I decided to propose to Amelia. I planned this momentous occasion carefully, choosing to perform the sacred ceremony at the same music festival where we met. In the familiar sound of music, under the starry sky, I got down on one knee and presented Amelia with the ring that symbolizes eternity. "Amelia, will you marry me?" I asked nervously, and with tears in her eyes, Amelia replied in a trembling voice, "Yes, Zach, I do." Our wedding was simple and cozy, inviting only our closest family and friends. We exchanged vows in a small church by the sea and made a promise to love each other for the rest of our lives. On that day, Amelia looked like an angel and I felt like the happiest man in the world. Our married life was quiet and happy. Amelia worked as a hairdresser and I worked in my father's automobile repair store. We lived in a quiet neighborhood and lived an ordinary but fulfilling life. Soon after, our first child was born, a lovely boy. Later, we had 2 more children, a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old. Our family life seemed to be perfect, but as time went on, some subtle changes took place. Amelia became more and more concerned about her appearance, and her style of dress changed. She began to wear short skirts to show off her figure. As a hairdresser, she felt the need to show off her image on social media. She has a growing following on Instagram and TikTok and seems to enjoy the attention. I, on the other hand, have always been focused on my work and family, and have no interest in social media. It seemed like our priorities were starting to subtly diverge, but I didn't really care. I thought it was just a hiccup in life and believed that our relationship was strong enough to withstand anything. However, fate always likes to play jokes. Just when I thought everything was going great, our marriage took a huge turn for the worse. It was a normal afternoon when Amelia came home and handed me an envelope with no expression on her face. When I opened the envelope and saw the divorce papers inside, I felt like my whole world had collapsed. 20 years of marriage, and that's the end of it. I couldn't believe it, and I didn't want to believe it. I tried to talk to Amelia to save our marriage, but she seemed to have made up her mind that she needed freedom and change. I couldn't understand it, and I couldn't accept it. Hadn't we always been happy? Why are we suddenly splitting up? In the days that followed, I was in a state of anguish and confusion. I began to look back on our marriage, trying to figure out what was wrong. Had I neglected her too much? Had the passion between us faded? Or was there something else I hadn't noticed? This experience made me realize that even a seemingly perfect love needs to be maintained by both parties. And when one party gives up, even the deepest relationship will come to an end. My story is not over yet, but this turning point has changed the course of my life forever. The divorce papers were like a hammer, completely shattering my illusion of marriage. My mind went blank and the paper in my hand felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. I looked up at Amelia, hoping to see a hint of hesitation or reluctance in her eyes, but all I saw was determination. Why? It was the only thing I could say. Amelia took a deep breath and began to explain, "Zach, I need to be free. I need a change. All these years, I felt bound to one role, a wife, a mother. But I wanted to be something else. I wanted to explore other possibilities in life." I couldn't understand what she was saying. As far as I was concerned, we had a good life. We have lovely children, a stable job, a comfortable home. Haven't we always supported each other and grown together? Did I do something wrong? I asked softly, or is there someone else? Amelia shook her head. "No, Zach, it's not your fault, nor anyone else. It's just, the passion between us is gone. I need some excitement. I need to meet new people, see different places. I think life's gotten too boring, and I want more." Her words sent a stab of pain through me. Wasn't the calmness between us the tacit understanding and comfort we had built up over the years? Why, in her eyes, is this a reason for divorce? What about the children? I asked eagerly, "Have you thought about how this will affect them?" Amelia's expression softened a bit. "Of course I thought about the children. But Zach, our oldest son is working, and he doesn't need us around all the time anymore. As for the other two, I'll take care of them." I couldn't accept her explanation. To me, family is not just about care. It's about love and companionship. Our children, no matter how old they are, need complete families. But Amelia seemed to have made up her mind, and no amount of arguing on my part could sway her. For the next few days, I felt like a zombie. I went to work, came home, took care of the children, but my heart was in a state of desolation. I tried to renegotiate with Amelia, hoping she would reconsider, but every conversation ended in an argument. It is the children who worry me the most. My oldest son seems to have sensed something, and when I told him the news, he was silent for a long time and then said he didn't want to talk about it. I could feel his pain, but I didn't know how to comfort him. With the other two young children, I don't know how to explain it. They were too young to fully understand what was happening. Whenever they innocently asked why their mom didn't live with us, my heart ached like a knife. During the divorce proceedings, I realized that Amelia was already prepared. She had already found a new place to live and had even planned how to divide our assets. This made me realize that she had probably been thinking about divorce for a long time. This realization made me feel even more hurt and betrayed. For the first few weeks after the divorce, I was completely consumed with grief and self-blame. I kept thinking about our marriage, trying to figure out what I had done wrong. I began to wonder if I really knew Amelia and if I had really given her the life she wanted. However, just when I was at my lowest point, my oldest son gave me an unexpected piece of advice. "Dad," he said sitting next to me one night, "I think you should start dating." I looked at him in amazement, and couldn't believe those words were coming out of my son's mouth. What? No, 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 I don't think I'm ready. I stammered, but my son insisted, Dad, you can't go on like this. Mom's gone, and you need to start your life over. Despite my embarrassment, I had to admit that my son's words gave me a glimmer of hope. Perhaps it was time for a fresh start. Encouraged by my son, I installed a dating app. At first, I felt very uncomfortable, not knowing how to introduce myself and what to talk about with strangers. But as time went on, I slowly adapted to this new way of socializing. To my surprise, I received a lot of attention. I went on 3 different dates in just 1 week. These dates gave me back some of my confidence and made me realize that the world didn't end with my divorce. However, even though I had a great time on the date, I still felt like something was missing. I craved not just companionship, but a real emotional connection. I wanted to feel loved and cherished again. Just as I was considering whether or not I should continue dating, fate reached out to me once again. By chance, I met a woman who immediately caught my attention. She happened to be my oldest son's teacher from his school. We hit it off right away and soon developed a strong bond. I felt the warmth of being loved again, and my heart was filled with gratitude. This new relationship has given me a new direction and meaning in my life. I began to re-examine my life and think about what I really wanted. However, just when I thought I was finally getting my life back on track, I found myself unwittingly involved in an unexpected situation. It affected not only me, but also my ex-wife Amelia and even our children. But that's another story. Life is full of surprises, and I've just turned a new page in my story. Life finally seemed to be on track. My relationship with my new girlfriend was stabilizing, and the kids were adjusting to their new family situation. However, beneath the calm surface, a storm was quietly brewing. It all started when I accidentally discovered Amelia's TikTok account. It was a normal weekend night. The kids had already gone to bed and I was bored with my phone. Suddenly, a familiar face appeared on the screen. It was Amelia, and out of curiosity, I clicked on her page. I never imagined that this simple act would set off a chain of events. Amelia's account is filled with all sorts of life-sharing and beauty tips videos, and it looks like she's quite popular on social media. However, as I continued browsing, one particular video caught my attention. The title of the video was I Did It. I hesitated, but clicked the play button. Amelia's voice came out of the phone. It's a long story. I'll try to see if I can tell it in 60 seconds. We met in our 20s and got married at 27. But there was no real chemistry between us, especially in the bedroom. I married a nice guy, and he married a pretty girl. We were great friends, got along well, and almost never fought. But after 14 years together and 12 years of marriage, this lack of chemistry and connection became a huge hole in our marriage. I couldn't believe my ears. Amelia was talking about our private life in public and twisting the truth. How could there not be chemistry between us? We have 3 children. I felt angry, humiliated, and betrayed. For the next few days, I couldn't stop following Amelia's account. Each new video was like a blow to my heart. In one video, she said, "So my divorce posts are not unusual." Yes, did I know before I got married? Of course I knew. I was married at 27 and engaged at 26. Do you think you know everything in your 20s? Everyone told me that passion fades. So I took it as you don't need it. If it fades, why do you need it? It's better to marry a good man, right? Those words stung me. Was our marriage just a rational choice in her eyes? What did those good times we shared, those days I thought were filled with love, mean to her? However, it was Amelia's comments in another video that really struck me. She tells a story about commitment. I had a client whose husband would arrive at the hair salon a couple hours early each time to bring her a box of chocolates. This man would purposely leave the house, go to the chocolate store, buy the chocolates, and deliver them to the salon. I don't need you to be exclusive with me, but I want that level of commitment. I felt a wave of revulsion. A man who had abandoned his own family was talking about commitment? I know that couple. They've been married for 25 years and have known each other since kindergarten. That's real commitment. Just as I was sinking into frustration, my son gave me an unexpected piece of advice. "Dad," he said, "I think you should share something on social media too." Let people see that your life isn't what mom describes. At first, I was hesitant to suggest this. I've never been one to share my private life online. But my son's words got me thinking. Perhaps this is indeed an opportunity for people to know the truth. With the help of my son, I started sharing my life on social media. I posted some pictures with my kids showing our daily life. I also shared some of the great times I had on vacation with my new girlfriend. I'm not trying to get back at or hurt Amelia. I'm just trying to show that my life didn't stop because of the divorce. I'm moving on. I'm trying to be a good father and a good partner. However, things took an unexpected turn. My post caught the attention of many people, including some who knew both Amelia and me. They began to express their support in the comments section, and some even openly criticized Amelia for what she said in the video. Amelia seems to have noticed all this. She started leaving some snarky comments under my photos. I wanted to delete the comments, but before I could do anything about it, more people joined the discussion in my defense. You look like you're having a great time, Zach. I'm so glad to see you pulling yourself together. Your children seem happy. The comments warmed my heart, but at the same time, they made me feel a little uneasy. I'm not trying to start an internet fight. I'm just trying to show my real life. The situation quickly spiraled out of control. People started leaving comments under Amelia's video, calling her a jealous ex-wife, and saying a lot of nasty things. Some told her to get her act together and move on with her life. Others wrote, "Is your new boyfriend not doing well? You're the one who caused it. Eat your own words." It is very disturbing to see things come to this. Even though Amelia hurt me, I didn't want to see her attacked with cyber violence. I'm beginning to regret my involvement in this social media fiasco. I have decided to stop sharing content on social media for a while and focus on real life. I discussed this with my new girlfriend, and she completely understood and supported my decision. We agreed that what really matters is our relationship and family, not the likes and comments online. This fiasco has made me acutely aware of the double-edged nature of social media. It allows people to showcase their lives and gain support and approval, but at the same time, it can cause unnecessary disputes and harm. I began to think about how to protect my privacy and that of my family in this age of information explosion, and how to find a balance between the online world and real life. There are no easy answers to these questions, but I know that no matter what happens, I will continue to work hard to create an environment of love and understanding for my children. Life is always full of challenges, but I believe that as long as we remain sincere and kind, we can eventually get through them and usher in a better tomorrow. After the social media fiasco died down, my life seemed to be back on track. However, fate once again brought me an unexpected twist. One calm Sunday afternoon, my cell phone suddenly rang. The name displayed on the screen made me freeze. It was Amelia. I hesitated for a moment, but answered the call. "Zach," Amelia's voice sounded a little shaky. "I need your help." As I listened quietly, mixed emotions welled up in my mind. Amelia told me that she was in serious financial trouble. It turned out that she had invested a large amount of the money she had gotten from her divorce in her new boyfriend's business, but that business had not been as successful as expected. "I know I'm in no position to ask for your help," Amelia said, "but I'm really desperate. I even mortgaged my hair salon just to get a loan for his business." I was shocked and incredulous. Amelia has always been a shrewd woman. How could she make such a risky decision? "What about your boyfriend?" I asked. "Can't he help you?" There was silence on the other end of the line for a moment. Then came Amelia's sobs. He left me. Just last week, he took all the money and disappeared without a trace." I took a deep breath and tried to calm my inner turmoil. On one hand, I felt sympathy for Amelia's situation. On the other, I felt a twinge of vengeful pleasure. But soon, I was ashamed of myself for thinking such thoughts. "Amelia," I said slowly, "I'm sorry to hear that, but I don't think I can be of much help. We're divorced and I have my own family to take care of." "But Zach," Amelia's voice took on a pleading tone, "didn't we have a 20-year relationship? Can't you stand to see me left with nothing?" I was silent. Yes, we did have a 20-year relationship, but that relationship is over. It was Amelia who chose to end it, chose to leave our family. "I'm sorry, Amelia," I finally said, "but I can't get involved in your life anymore. You need to take responsibility for your decisions and face the consequences alone. I suggest you seek professional financial counseling. Perhaps they can help you find a solution to your problems. A low sob came from the other end of the line, followed by a long silence. Finally, in a barely audible voice, Amelia said, "I understand. Thank you, Zach. Sorry for everything." After I hung up the phone, I sat there with a lot of thoughts. I remembered all the years we had spent together, the happy times, and the pain of separation. I realized that even though I had forgiven Amelia, our relationship could never be the same again. The conversation made me revisit my life. I remembered the young man who met Amelia at a music festival, the self that was full of hopes and dreams. Although life didn't go the way it was supposed to, I didn't lose myself. On the contrary, I became stronger and more aware of what I wanted. I decided to focus on what really mattered: my kids, my new relationship, and my career. I started to get more involved in my kids' lives, trying to be a role model and support for them. My relationship with my girlfriend was also deepening, and we started discussing future plans. At work, I rediscovered my passion. I started to think about how I could expand my car repair business and how I could provide a better service to my customers. I even started thinking about starting a training program to teach young people auto repair skills. A few months later, I met Amelia again, this time at our youngest son's soccer game. She looked much older, and her eyes revealed fatigue. But her eyes still lit up when she saw our son running around the field. We said a polite hello and sat side by side in the bleachers. We didn't talk about the past or the future. We just sat quietly and cheered for our son. In that moment, I realized that even though we were no longer a couple, we would always be parents. Our story may be over, but our children's story was just beginning. On the way home, I pondered the ups and downs of life. I was reminded of what a wise man once said: "A foolish man will wander around and eventually discover the truth." Perhaps we are all that foolish person, groping our way through the maze of life. But it's important that we learn from our mistakes and continue to grow. Now, standing at this point in my life, I feel more at peace than ever before. I know there will be challenges ahead and ups and downs, but I also know that by remaining sincere, kind, and strong, I will be able to face it all. My story continues, and this time, I will write it with a wiser, stronger version of myself. Because I realize that life isn't just about finding joy, it's about finding meaning and growth in the midst of difficulty. As night fell, I stood in front of my house and looked up at the stars in the sky. I take a deep breath and smile. Whatever tomorrow brings, I am ready for it. For I know that true happiness lies not in external affirmation, but in inner peace and fulfillment. I push open the door and walk into the warmth of my home. A new day is about to begin, and I, for one, am taking on every challenge life has to offer with a renewed vigor. Thank you for taking the time to listen to today's story. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you have a story to share about your own or someone else's experience, please feel free to contact me. Take care.